Hello, this is just another short discussion video about topics that matter to you. This is informal, casual, there's no scripts, no nothing like that here. I just want to, like I've been doing up till now, talk about things very casually, very informally, about things that matter to you and my perspective on them, so hopefully it can encourage you to think about them too. Now, the first thing, as you might have guessed, is about the PlayStation 4 that was announced a few weeks back now, and over on my IGN, which is probably how you found this video, I wrote a bit about the backwards compatibility issue. Now, the PlayStation 4 has no backwards compatibility, and to me that's something that's really putting me off it. This generation's been very different. It's gone on for very long, and to be honest, there's no telling when it's going to get cut off, when this generation will end. Budgets are going up, games still look amazing coming out this generation, so for many years to come there could still be top tier games coming out on current generation consoles without exploding to the new ones. They've got a bigger install base, and every generation up till now, the past consoles have been cut off fairly fast. The AAA, the big name titles, haven't come out on the old consoles when there's the new one out. But just look at the release calendar now. You've got Grand Theft Auto, you've got Assassin's Creed, the new one, which sold $14 million on the last one, despite what people thought of it. So I can't help but think people are going to take a PlayStation 4 and Grand Theft Auto 5 on PS3 to a counter and just expect it to work. Everything has backwards compatibility. You can't buy every video game console except for the PlayStation 3 since 2001 has had full backwards compatibility. It's just something expected. And I understand Sony's decision with it, because they made, quite frankly, what's turned out to be a big mistake pushing the cell chip in the last console. Multi-platform games have been inferior on the PlayStation 3 for this entire generation, solely for that reason, just because it's difficult, it's complex. Sony had all this money invested in the cell chip and forced it into a console, and it's still debated today whether that was a good idea. So yeah, this generation might not end. You could see PS3 games coming out, PS3 and Xbox 360 coming out for a while. So maybe not having backwards compatibility is a big deal. There is the Gaikai streaming thing, but the quality of service for that isn't up to par, even for the majority of people. And if you're buying a $500 PlayStation 4, do you really want to be streaming games instead of using the processing power in the PlayStation 4? It seems like buying a flash car and just towing it everywhere. Gaikai doesn't take advantage of the PlayStation 4's expensive hardware. So anyway, that's interesting, and my next topic's kind of something a bit closer to me. As you know, there's been a lot of happenings at IGN lately. Chances are, if you're watching this video, it is through my IGN. I don't have that many YouTube subscribers to warrant any other way. There's been a lot of happenings. There was recently a big round of layoffs. I know that a few editors laid off. I've heard that a lot of engineers and behind the scenes people were also laid off as they were purchased by a new company, as I've talked about in the last video in this ongoing series. And if you go back to my IGN page, I have wrote a bit of a concern about this. I don't know, IGN seems to be streamlining, and I do a lot of blogging there. I just find it's a central place to have a blog, good as anywhere else, but I'm just concerned what the future of that is. There's just looking at the fine print. I read the terms and conditions, which is something I never encourage anyone to do. It's unsure what happens when you post an article on my IGN. What happens to the ownership of that? Do I still own the rights to it? Do I still own that exclusively? Under a new owner with a streamlining thing, could something happen to the community? Could something change there? Could the blogs go away? It's such a tumultuous time. They killed one up, they cut the staff, they're severely changing the way IGN operates, and I don't know, there's no assurances about what the future of the community side of things will be, and I'd like some assurances. I mean, I get that IGN's run by executive staff that are very high up and, well, very intelligent, but Does IGN know what the future is of IGN? Because the ownership company probably has plans, and maybe they haven't shared them with the staff of IGN yet, even the editors-in-chief, like the higher-up people. So, I don't know. I don't know if I know that the stuff I write, the articles and features I put up on my IGN might not seem like much, but I do try to put as much effort into them as I can. I do like spending the time to research and craft. I just don't know if I'm comfortable doing that on such a confined service like IGN. I'm aware that doing it on IGN does get me 10 views as opposed to 1, but being on IGN does concern me. I'm sorry for rambling on. I have a habit of doing that. It's late at night. This isn't formal. There's no script. There's no nothing here. You're seeing me in my natural dynamic state. I just like reassurances about what IGN's plans are for the future. Not much more than that. I don't know. It's just such an up and down time. I don't know what's going to happen with the future of IGN. I don't even know if I'm comfortable with having my stuff hosted on there. I mean, this video is on YouTube and embedded there, but I talk too much. So anyway, PlayStation 4 backwards compatibility, is it an issue? Do you think this generation is going to be around a lot longer than people think, even after the new hardware comes out? I think it is. Be interested to hear what you think. And IGN, do you think it's a... Have the recent happenings with the new ownership, have you worried about what's happening at IGN? Being part of the community, you put a lot of time and effort into it, and it'd just be nice to have clarification about what the plans are for the future of it. That's all. I'm not trying to. I do love IGN. If you look up there, I've been a member of IGN for coming up on 10 years. 10 years since I registered this username on IGN. That's longer, probably doubly longer than the majority of every one of IGN's staff, except for the founding fathers, except for Pierre Schneider. Longer than everyone, longer than every current editor on the staff, except for maybe one. I am that legacy. So, don't think I'm going on a rant against IGN. I'm not. I've been a member of IGN longer than you have. Probably. And I just want clarification, and I don't think it's too much to ask, and I think it's something most people should be concerned about. So anyway, I hope you have a good time pondering these thoughts. I'd love to hear your feedback. I know that I'm not the most educated person when it comes to these things, but anyway, leave your feedback, leave your comments. Just, I'd like it best if you came out of this thinking about these things. Thank you for your time, and I'll try to do these videos on a regular basis, even if they only get 6 views apiece.